What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, and today we're going to go over 5 keys for the New York Giants to beat the Baltimore Ravens in Week 6. Of course, New York Giants coming off of a super exciting win in London over the Green Bay Packers last week, improving to a 4-1 record. How can the Giants turn their 4-1 record to a 5-1 record at home against the Baltimore Ravens tomorrow? It's going to be a really exciting game. I can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to cover it right here on Fireside Giants, pregame live stream, postgame recap, all going to be right here on the channel, so make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the keys that I believe will propel the Giants to victory in Week 6. And the first one, pretty obvious. Of course, we know who the main villain of the Giants is going to be tomorrow. The main guy that they need to try to shut down. It's going to be Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. And one of the ways that the Giants will win this game is if they keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. Don't let him break the pocket. Don't let him break the contain and start running all over the place. If you look at his stats this season, he is the Baltimore Ravens' leading rusher this year with 374 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns in only 5 games. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in 12 games last year, and he's also averaging 7.6 yards per attempt on the ground, which is leading the NFL. So Lamar Jackson running with efficiency, making some big plays, also has the longest rush of the year for a quarterback with a 79-yard run. And again, those 2 touchdowns already matching his total from last season. So Lamar Jackson, the New York Giants need to learn how to slow him down ahead of this game. They need to try to keep him in the pocket, keep him from breaking out of the pocket, and of course, running all over the defense. But not only keeping him from running all over the defense, you also have to make sure that Lamar Jackson doesn't scramble out of the pocket and make plays with his arm. Now, we know Lamar Jackson is very deadly as a passer and as a rusher, but a lot of the times what happens is when he breaks the pocket, starts to leave the pocket, the Giants or any defense facing Lamar Jackson starts to kind of lose structure, and then players start running wide open in the secondary, and Lamar Jackson's able to make some of those plays where he can scramble, buy some time, and then find someone downfield. So the Giants, you're going to see some QB spies. You're going to see a lot of QB contains. Of course, with Kayvon Thibodeau and Jahad Ward on the edge, you're probably going to see them playing a lot of contains. You might not see a big statistical sack number from either of those guys, because primarily what they're going to be doing is just ensuring that Lamar Jackson doesn't reach out of the pocket. So that's what you're going to see from the game plan there. And of course, with a QB spy, I would expect to see probably Tay Crowder be the spy, or even Julian Love come down from the safety position into the box and play that spy role where he's kind of just hovering around the line of scrimmage and making sure that if Lamar Jackson does break the contain, Julian Love or Tay Crowder, the spy, is there to slow him down before he's able to cross line of scrimmage and gain any yardage. But again, Lamar Jackson, whether it be on designed runs, whether it be off script or just scrambling with the ball, he is deadly with the ball in his hands. We all know that. Lamar Jackson, former NFL MVP, the New York Giants, if they want to win this game, they're going to have to keep him in the pocket and make him win throwing the football. But of course, inversely, the New York Giants also have to run the ball with efficiency. We all know Saquon Barkley is having a stellar year. Saquon Barkley is back. He looks like his rookie version of himself from 2018, but maybe even better. This is better than I've ever seen Saquon Barkley playing, in my humble opinion. So I'm super excited to see him go into this game, hopefully make a big impact. Right now, the New York Giants are averaging 350 total yards per game, 179 yards rushing per game. Unfortunately, they're only averaging 171 yards passing per game, which is a pretty low number. But rushing for 179 yards per game is a very impressive number for the New York Giants. If they can continue to run with such efficiency, then of course you're going to see another big game out of Saquon Barkley. Hopefully he reaches the end zone maybe once, maybe twice, who knows. But he's pretty much been dominant in every game for the Giants. If they can continue to rush the ball with him effectively, then yes, we will see a big game out of him, and hopefully we'll see him lead the Giants to another victory. But let's also keep in mind that Daniel Jones is still hobbled with that injury. Now, he injured his ankle a few weeks ago. He returned to the lineup at the end of the game, just to hand against the Chicago Bears, just to hand the ball off to Saquon. He didn't miss a game, thankfully. And Daniel Jones is obviously healthy, no injury designation. He's going to be playing on Sunday. However, he still is likely feeling that ankle injury. I can't imagine that the Giants are going to have Daniel Jones run the ball more than just a handful of times. I don't expect his legs to be a huge part of the New York Giants game plan, but every now and then he will be asked to run maybe a QB draw or a read option, whatever the case might be, a bootleg that he has the ability to run off the left side like he did against the Chicago Bears. That might happen, but it probably won't happen too frequently. But when it does, it needs to be called efficiently. And the Giants need to make sure that Daniel Jones is efficient with his legs when he's given the opportunity to run with the ball. So it's not just about Saquon Barkley having an efficient day. Of course, when Daniel Jones is running with the ball, he needs to be efficient too. And he has been this year. I mean, Daniel Jones has actually put together a very impressive season statistically on the ground. He already has a couple of rushing touchdowns, as we already know from the game against the Chicago Bears. He ran 2 in off of the bootlegs. But if you take a look at his stats as a rusher, pulling them up right now, he has 41 rushes for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns, 21 first downs, 21 yards was his longest rush, and 5.6 yards per attempt. He's averaging 46 yards per game on the ground. Again, very impressive stats right there from Daniel Jones. He's averaging 8.2 rushing attempts per game. So again, I would say you're probably going to see half of that. I would suggest 4 rushing attempts in this game for the New York Giants out of Daniel Jones. I don't think that he's going to be taking the ball and running with it too frequently while he's still just coming off of that ankle injury. I think he still needs some more time before he gets back up to those 8 attempts per game. But it is very impressive to see that the Giants are utilizing his legs, and it is working quite well. I mean, 230 rushing yards compared to Lamar Jackson, 374. Of course, Lamar Jackson is gaining more yards on the ground, but if you take a look at Lamar Jackson's rushing stats, he is also averaging 9 attempts per game, and he's not dealing with an ankle injury. So he is rushing the ball. He has 49 total rushes, and Daniel Jones has 41. So they actually are deploying design quarterback runs almost at the same rate. So Daniel Jones, very interesting usage of his skill set this year, but it's proven to be very efficient. And the Giants need to continue to maintain that efficiency in the rushing game, not only with Saquon Barkley, but of course with Daniel Jones as well. But let's go ahead and move on to the third key in this game, which is winning the turnover battle. And I'm going to continue to talk about Daniel Jones for this one because, as we all know, I'm looking at the stats right now. 2019 led the NFL in fumbles with 19 total fumbles on the year. And then in the following season, his sophomore year, 14 games played, 10 fumbles. Terrible number right there. 11 games played last year, 7 fumbles. But 5 games played this year, 1 fumble. And I think that's a really great number for Daniel Jones. He has not been fumbling the ball at that high rate anymore. It seems like he really has learned how to protect the football a whole lot better. And I think that has been a massive difference maker for the New York Giants. He has 2 interceptions on the year, yes, but only 1 fumble. So 3 turnovers through 5 games is really impressive for Daniel Jones. I mean, just think about that, considering where he was even last season. 11 games and 7 interceptions with 7 fumbles, so 14 turnovers in 11 games, a horrible number. And of course, his sophomore year, 10 interceptions to 11 touchdowns in 14 games, combined with his 10 fumbles, so 20 and 14. So you were seeing a lot of turnovers from Daniel Jones in the past, but through 5 games this year, he has not been turning the ball over at that rate at all. He is less than a turnover per game. Thank the Lord. Daniel Jones has finally figured out how to protect the football, and the New York Giants have been far better off because of it. They are winning games because of it, because they're not turning the ball over down the stretch. Now, yes, he had that boneheaded interception on the attempted fade route to Saquon Barkley. Not the best play, but we haven't seen any bad plays like that from Daniel Jones since. In that game against the Packers, Alex and I, my co-hosts on the show, we talked about this a couple days ago. Daniel Jones on that long scoring drive, the 91-yard drive that they went on to tie the game versus the Packers, he had an opportunity where he could have thrown it up into the back of the end zone for anybody to take it or throw it out of the back of the end zone. And he chose to actually throw the ball away, live to see another down. The Giants scored on the next play. We haven't seen that in the past from Daniel Jones, but we are seeing that now. And it is one of the reasons that the New York Giants are playing winning football, because Daniel Jones is not putting the ball in harm's way, not turning the ball over. The Giants are maintaining possession, maintaining control of the game, and winning the game because they are winning the turnover battle. So going into this game, it's going to be super important for the New York Giants to continue to win these turnover battles. Lamar Jackson on the year, only 1 fumble to go along with 5 interceptions. So he is throwing interceptions at a far higher rate than Daniel Jones is. If the New York Giants really want to win that turnover battle, they shouldn't try and make it a stalemate 0-0. They should try to make it 0-5. They should make the Baltimore Ravens turn the ball over, get some interceptions. Xavier McKinney, go eat. Julian Love, go eat. maybe Kayvon Thibodeau gets his first sack and it's a strip sack. That would be awesome. The New York Giants do need to start forcing more turnovers, in my opinion. I feel like in most weeks they are not forcing those turnovers. I think the Giants defense has been excellent, and we're going to dive into it. But I'd like to see a little bit more aggression in forcing those turnovers. And I think against the Baltimore Ravens, with Lamar Jackson already throwing 5 interceptions through 5 games, he's good for a pick a game, apparently, according to the averages there. So hopefully the New York Giants can go ahead and try to force some turnovers out of Lamar Jackson. Daniel Jones keeps the ball in check. And of course, the Giants go on to win the game. I think that is a massive key. But let's go ahead and move on to the fourth key, which is watching the deep ball. Now, this is an interesting one because when you're taking a look at the way that Lamar Jackson has been playing this year, he is taking some shots downfield. He is connecting on those shots downfield, and he is playing at a very high level when throwing the ball downfield. I'm going to go ahead and pull up those stats for you all real quickly about his passing by depth according to Pro Football Focus. But Lamar Jackson is playing at a really high level. Let's go over his passing statistics right now. 149 attempts for 1,067 yards with 12 touchdowns. He is leading the NFL currently in touchdown percentage, the highest percentage of his attempts converted into touchdowns at 8.1%. Again, he does have those 5 interceptions, but throwing those touchdowns at such a high rate is obviously impressive for him. So also taking a look at his longest pass of the season, it is a 75-yard pass. And if you take a look at his yards per attempt at 7.2, it's about in line with where he has been for all of the previous years of his career. So taking a look at Lamar Jackson's stats, throwing from behind the line of scrimmage, short, intermediate, and deep, he is throwing most of his touchdowns 20-plus yard passes. He has 4 touchdowns going deep. He has 4 touchdowns short, 2 behind line of scrimmage, and 2 in the medium 10 to 19-yard range. So when you're taking a look at Lamar Jackson, a lot of his best throws are actually coming from between 10 to 19 yards, but covering the deep ball on those 20-plus yard plays, they are attempting them rather frequently. Lamar Jackson is throwing deep on 17% of his passing attempts, 25 of his attempts. 8 completions, though. He doesn't have the highest completion percentage for his deep passing, but 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's doing really well, and his average depth of target when throwing deep is actually over 30 yards, so very impressive stuff there. Lamar Jackson, if the New York Giants do want to prevent him from having a big breakout game, they need to make sure that they're covering the deep ball. One thing that I will say, though, Lamar Jackson, 5 interceptions on the year, 3 of them from the 20-plus yard passing attempts. So if the New York Giants are going to go ahead and force some turnovers of Lamar Jackson, they are likely going to go ahead and do that while having him throw the ball deep. So the Giants should keep everything in front of Lamar Jackson and try to force him to throw the ball deep. And once he does, hopefully Xavier McKinney can go out there and get an interception or 2 and lead the Giants to victory. But let's go ahead and move into the final key. Now, we have discussed this quite a bit here. Already, the New York Giants need to stop the running game. We talked about Lamar Jackson and the way that he's been running the football all year. Impressive as always. The Giants need to keep him in the pocket, keep him throwing the ball rather than rushing it. But the Ravens are also having a solid season out of J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins has been playing well this year. So on the year, J.K. Dobbins, the leading rusher for the Baltimore Ravens. He started 3 games, 28 rushing attempts, 108 yards, 1 touchdown, and he's also picked up 10 first downs. Now, the Baltimore Ravens are running the ball at a frequent rate. They do like to run the ball more than they like to throw. But this year, they are only averaging 144.6 yards per game compared to the Giants, allowing only 131 rushing yards per game. So the New York Giants have been really impressive, in my opinion, in recent weeks, stopping the run. I think that Aaron Jones was shut down as well as he could have been last week. Wink Martindale, that's one of his calling cards, stopping the run. Run defense is one of the things that Wink Martindale excels at the most. So I do trust in Wink Martindale to go out there, put together a solid game plan, and prevent the Baltimore Ravens from running all over the New York Giants defense. But we want the Giants to win the game by controlling the clock, controlling possession, winning the turnover battle. A lot of that, they have to run the ball. But they can't be the Giants are running the ball if the Baltimore Ravens are running the ball at such a high rate. So the Giants do need to slow down Lamar Jackson's legs. They need to slow down J.K. Dobbins and the rest of the Ravens running backs and slow them down in the rushing game. So the New York Giants are going to need to stop the run in order to win this game against the Baltimore Ravens. But like I said, I think this is going to be a really exciting matchup. I can't wait to see this one unfold tomorrow afternoon. I'm excited to cover it right here on Fireside Giants. I actually really love Lamar Jackson. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL. I'm excited to be privileged with watching him tomorrow afternoon rather than having to watch just the Giants. I get to watch Lamar Jackson as well. So that's super exciting for me. And I think it's going to be a good win for the Giants, in my opinion. I do think they're going to come out on top of this one. They have a 4-1 record. Baltimore Ravens with a 3-2 record. But right now, I think that the Giants are hot. The Ravens narrowly beat Cincinnati last week with a 19-17 win. Of course, we know 2 weeks ago they lost 23-20 against the Buffalo Bills after having a 20-3 lead, 20 unanswered points by the Buffalo Bills to come away with that win. In my opinion, the Ravens just aren't playing well right now. They're not playing their best football. The New York Giants are, though. Chicago beat them 20-12, and of course against Green Bay 27-22. Another game-winning drive put together by Daniel Jones, who actually leads the NFL right now in game-winning drives among all quarterbacks. So that's a really exciting stat from Daniel Jones. Hopefully, it doesn't have to be that close where Daniel Jones has to put together a game-winning drive tomorrow, but it likely will be. If the Giants win this game, it's likely going to be a close game. Daniel Jones is going to have to propel the team to victory. Saquon Barkley as well. They're going to have to make some plays down the stretch to hopefully put the Giants in position to succeed and to win. But again, it's going to be a hard-fought game. The Ravens are no joke. They are a very good football team, but it's going to be a really exciting matchup, and I can't wait to watch it unfold. So make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this episode. Comment down below what is your key to beating the Baltimore Ravens in Week 6, and make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss a video. We'll catch you all on the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.